Hello, Connie Kripp here from Wellness for Life Coaching. Uh, we're going to continue our discussion about the Book of Joy, one of my favorites. I will list a whole bunch of the books that I enjoy and show them to you and see if you enjoy them as much as I do. Tonight, we're going to talk about Pillar 4, which is acceptance. And this is a tough one. Well, they're all tough, but they all can bring us so much joy if we can get over the hump of acceptance. So I want to read something out of the book that is pretty profound to me. I think the Dalai Lama says that once we see life in its wider perspective, which was the first pillar, when we see our role in its drama with some degree of humility, which was the second pillar, and are able to laugh at ourselves, humor, which was the third pillar, we can then accept our life in all its pain, imperfection, and beauty. Acceptance is the opposite of resignation or defeat. Stress and anxiety come from our expectations of how life should be. Most of our suffering comes from our reacting to people, places, things, and circumstances in our lives rather than accepting them. And I really like a lot of the things that they say in the book. And this one really helped me again after we lost our son. I was fortunate enough to be working at Moraine Park, and they sent me to 7 Habits of Highly Effective People training. And I worked with just some wonderful people, and one of the 7 habits is the difference between being proactive and reactive. And they taught us that there's only a little space sometimes between reacting and being proactive. And what I really learned, I mean, I knew it in my head, but I started to feel it in my heart, was that we can't change a lot of things that happen to us. And but we can change how we respond to them. Now, that's a tough one, but I knew that no matter what I did, I couldn't bring my son back, but I could change how I reacted to that. And I've talked before about, the anger, and someone asked me, what is it that you need when you're dealing with this terrible loss? And I said, I need friends and family and people around me, because I'm such an extrovert. I just had to be talking about things, and I wanted to talk about my son. And it dawned on me that it's hard to be with people who are depressed and angry and sad all the time. So I thought I really have to work on being happier, or at least finding some joy through all of this pain in order to have friends and people around me. And so that really helped me when I worked on the acceptance phase of going through the 7 habits. I had some really great friends at Moraine Park too, which also really helped. But there's a paradox that the Dalai Lama talks about, and it's a hard one to understand, but the more I repeat it and the more I talk about it, the better I can internalize it. One of the key paradoxes in Buddhism is that we need goals to be inspired and to grow and to develop, even to become enlightened. But at the same time, we must not get overly fixated or attached to these aspirations. If the goal is noble, your commitment to the goal should not be contingent on your ability to attain it. And in pursuit of our goal, we must release our rigid assumptions about how we must achieve it. And I'm a big believer in The Secret, the power of attraction. I feel that there's, whether it's God or a higher power or the universe, Mother Earth, is what I like to call her, Lady Luna, the moon, whatever we feel is greater than us, if we turn our attention and ask for what we want, and we still have to work towards our goals, but to be able to let go of how it's going to happen. For example, I could be thinking about a goal of wanting to lose 10 pounds, just for that example. And, I may think I have to be on a really strict diet or whatever, but most of the time it's eating healthy, it's eating the right things, getting enough food, moving, getting a good night's sleep, and not even doing a diet. And so sometimes we have to let go of how we're going to get there and just open it up to the universe, and then be open to believe that things are going to happen. And it's really accepting the things that we can't change. And it's looking at, there is a saying about things don't happen to us, things happen for us. And that's another tough one, because after you go through something terrible, whether it's an illness or a loss or whatever it is, it's really, that feels like it happened to us. And there wasn't anything I could do about that except learn how to accept it. And it has made me a stronger person. It's made me a health and life coach. I want to help others. And that's why I formed the Facebook support group for parents who have lost a child. And if you know of anyone that could be interested, check out my Facebook group. It's free, and it's just a, I shouldn't say just, but it's a support group. We do 6 weeks at a time, and we look at grief, the stages of grief, how to celebrate the holidays, how to get through those anniversary dates, how to get along with each other, because 9 out of 10 marriages in divorce after loss of a child. We also look at how to better take care of ourselves and what we need to do for ourselves to get through this terrible thing. So if you know of anyone, please pass this video on, and they can join my Facebook group. And like I said, I only want 6 folks in there at a time, because then we can really spend that hour together, and each person can have a turn to talk about things and deal with where they're at. And it is a closed group, so you can have someone email me, and then I'll give you more information about what I like to do. Is I'm starting up another group now, and so I'll find out when those 6 people can meet, what's the best time, and then we'll meet. But we also videotape it, so they can go back and watch it if they really want to. And I post some videos in there. I post some links of good things. I post resources, books, all of those things. So whatever you can get out of it, I guess, is the best thing. But if you know of someone that's lost someone, please let them know. So again, the acceptance thing is, it comes with all of the other pillars. And the Dalai Lama again says that the first 4 pillars, perspective, humility, humor, and now acceptance, are pillars of the mind. And we need to learn those first. They're kind of like the foundation in order to move into the rest of the pillars, the next 4, because they are pillars of the heart. And that's forgiveness, gratitude, compassion, and generosity. And we'll be talking about forgiveness next week. So I'm really glad that you've been able to join me. And what I would like to do is keep these short so that you feel like you really want to take the time to watch them. And what I'd like to do is do a little meditation about acceptance. And again, any possibility of joy requires an acceptance of reality. We cannot change reality. We can only change how we respond to it. And as the Archbishop and the Dalai Lama both said, this is the only place from which one can start to work for change, personal and global. And meditation is a practice that allows us to accept our life moment by moment without judgment or the expectation for life to be other than what it is. They're really a lot about be here now and enjoy this moment, be grateful for what we do have, and be joyful around that. So what I'd like you to do as a form of acceptance meditation is to sit comfortably, either in a chair with your feet on the ground, and rest your hands on your legs or on your lap. And I'd like you to close your eyes and take several long breaths in through your nose. Feel your stomach rise and fall, and leave the breath out all the way through your belly. And again, I like to use the 5-5-7 breathing. Breathe in for 5, Hold it for 5 and let out for 7. And do this a couple of times. And one more. Great. And just for a minute, pay attention to what you hear around you. Notice how the world is alive with sound. If any of you wake up early in the morning, you can really hear the birds chirping in the morning at 4:15. As thoughts about these noises arise, any judgments, assessments, or irritations, let those drift away. Just for this time, let it drift away. And release your focus on your breath. And while staying in this present moment, notice any thoughts or feelings that are arising. Perhaps you'll notice some discomfort in your body, or you have a certain feeling arise, or you may have a thought about what you need to accomplish or remember to do today. Our mind goes off. That's okay. As the thoughts come up, let them float away without judging them or getting caught up in them. Begin to start seeing thoughts as thoughts without identifying with them. Just observe each moment without judgment. Think of a situation that you are having a hard time accepting. Perhaps it's your difficulty finding a job or a life partner, something with your boss or a coworker, or it may be a friend's illness or a collective reality, such as war or the awful things that are going on with the shootings and the riots or the demonstrations. Demonstrations are actually okay when they don't turn to riots. Think of a situation where you really are having a hard time accepting. Remind yourself that this is the nature of reality. These painful realities do happen to us. Life happens. It happens to those we love, and it happens in our world. Acknowledge the fact that you cannot know all the factors that have led up to this event. Accept that what has happened has already happened. There is nothing you can do to change the past. Remind yourself, in order to make the most positive contribution to this situation, I must accept the reality of its existence. I'll say that again. In order to make the most positive contribution to this situation, I must accept the reality of its existence. You can also choose to recite or reflect on one of the passages from the Buddhist tradition and from the Christian tradition. God, or my higher power, give us the grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things I can, which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. And that was written by Reinhold Niebuhr, called the Serenity Prayer. I hope this week that you can look at things and think through, can I do anything about this situation? And if you can't, hopefully you can accept it. Sometimes I'm sure we wake up in the middle of the night and our minds are going a mile a minute. What helps me is I write in my gratitude journal every night 3 things that I'm thankful for, and I try to mix them up. They can be a little things, like today it was amazing weather in Wisconsin, 70 degrees and no humidity, sunny. It was a gorgeous day. I had 2 wonderful client contacts today making amazing progress, and I had a great dinner with my hubby. We had some wonderful food, and I was very grateful for being able to have the food that we had. So those were my 3 things from today. I'm also working on accepting the fact that we can't control the shootings that occurred today in San Jose, California. We can pray for their loved ones and pray to end violence and accept the fact that these terrible things have happened. There isn't anything that we can do about that actual situation right now. And so I hope that you can find some serenity in accepting some things that you can't change. Set some goals and work towards them, but maybe how or even the end result is going to be very different and hopefully better than what you thought it was going to be if you can just let go. There's another saying, let go and let God, or let go, let your higher power take over. Lady Luna, take over. And with that, I'm going to end. Just a nice little touch base. I'm also going to post a little workbook, a little ebook that I developed around the Book of Joy. I'll post that in the Facebook one more time in case you haven't seen it. And I do have a couple of other ebooks that I'm going to be posting for you. So I hope you enjoy. I really enjoy these times, and make sure that you take the time to think them through, because that's the key to all this.